All right, guys, welcome to Speed Kills Football. We have another great guest with us today. We're going to be talking packaging pressures with Coach Jacob Gill. Coach Gill is a defensive coordinator and assistant head coach at Shilo Christian in Springdale, Arkansas, where he also coaches safeties. Shilo Christian is a 3A school by enrollment, but 4A by classification. And they're actually fresh off of a 2020 state championship, right, Coach?
Yes, sir.
And this was y'all's eighth in the school history. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Coach Gill just finished his 11th season coaching, which is fourth at Shilo Christian, where his defense put up pretty amazing numbers, to say the least, en route to their championship. Coach, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a few of those stats.
Go. Sounds good.
This year, they had 22 interceptions, 24 forced fumbles, 35 sacks, 168 negative yardage plays. They're 70% on third down, 67% on fourth down, and they held 5 of their last 6 opponents, their lowest point total of the season. All right, now, here are 2 stat lines I wanted to ask you about the significance of, Coach.
Yep.
It isn't something you see every day in a stat column. First one, 106 of 116 drives with a negative play resulted in 0 points allowed. When did you start charting this stat, Coach, and kind of what made you look into that?
Yeah, so we started talking in 2018 about ways to get better. How do we know we're getting better? We've done the whole stat, the whole game, goal board. We've done all that stuff. And we saw the biggest correlation on our self-scouts between our defense and then also talking to our offense, that the greatest success the defense has is when the offense goes backwards. How that happens, to be honest with you, we don't care. Whether we are pressuring into a run, whether we're shifting the front, getting guys to move, whether we're blitzing you, to us, it doesn't matter. So then I start talking to some of my defensive friends and mentors and guys that I talk to, and they had started studying similar things. So we actually started studying that last year in 2019. So we made it to the state championship game last year. So in 15 games, I've got it on the presentation on the slide deck I'm going to go through. But we saw the same thing. It was like 700 negative yardage total, and then like 92%. So
wow.
The selling point to our guys was telling those guys, our defensive players, guys, if we can just make them go backwards one time, our data tells us not only are we going to be successful, they're not going to score. And that's a big thing we focus on, is that a lot of high school defense or high school offenses and high school quarterbacks aren't efficient enough to consistently overcome off-schedule plays, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 4th and long, whatever it is. Our job is to try to get them to execute over and over and over again. And if we'll play clean, there's a good chance that we're going to get off the field. They're going to throw us the football, whatever it is. So our whole premise of everything we do with pressure is, whether it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd down, we don't care. We want the defense to make the offense go backwards, because our numbers will tell us when we create negative yardage plays that we are going to be successful. And we're fortunate enough, our offense, over the past couple of years, I think they've averaged like 44 a game or something like that. And so, again, getting our kids to understand and buy into, if we will get the ball back to the offense, they will score. It may not be every series, but if we'll just do our job, make them go backwards, if we can't score, we want the offense to score. And if we can set them up to score, even better. So really the last 2 years, the data has almost been like the exact same. Like this year we were 91.4%, 0 points allowed when we had a negative play at any point in time on the drive. I think last year it was like 92%. So, I mean, it's spot on for the last 2 years for us.
Wow, Coach, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. As a defensive coordinator myself, I just finished my 15th season as a coach and 12th as a DC, and I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But that's pretty impressive. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. And the next one, y'all allowed 1.42 points per possession Where does the significance of that stat come from?
Yeah. So again, around the same time, we started tracking the negative yardage plays. Again, our offense is very high tempo. We're going to snap the ball really, really quick. We're going to try to get as many possessions in as we can. So the other side of that is, if you're going to be coaching defense on a team that plays offense that way, and the head coach is the offensive coordinator, play caller, you've got to be able to understand that you're going to be defending more possessions, which means defending more plays. And so for us, the metric, the old metric I remember growing up with was, well, if you can hold them under 100 yards rushing and 200 yards passing, under 300 yards, that's a great defensive game. And there's times our offense will put up 300 yards and a half or sooner. And so that kind of traditional thought of yardage being the yardstick that we're going by, we've kind of flipped that a little bit and said, okay, what's a good metric based on possessions? Because we say on average, we're going to face 10 possessions a game defensively. If one of our goals is to take the football away 3 times, so now we've gone from 10 possessions, now we're down to 7 possessions. So our quote goal is 3 points or less per possession. So if we can average 3 points or less per possession, even if someone gets up to 12 possessions on us, that's 36 points we've allowed. If our offense is averaging 40 plus, and we're giving up 3 or less per possession, we should win. And so getting guys to understand that in today's day and age, pitching a bunch of shutouts is not going to be really common. So people are going to score, but if we can limit how much they're scoring and how effective their offense is when they touch the football, then that plays back into that negative yardage stat. Okay, if we're trying to give up 3 or less points per possession, and we know if we make the offense go backwards, they don't score, can we all in the defensive meeting room start to see why it's important to make the offense go backwards? And so we started charting those right around the same time. And, 2 years ago, so we were in the state championship game, and we had 24 seniors on a 3A football team in Arkansas. 20 of them played. And so on defense this year, we replaced 8 starters. We returned 3 starters this year on defense. Mm-hmm. We actually, in 15 games, gave up the exact same amount of points this year that we did last year. So, if you look at our stat line, we're better in some areas, worse in some areas. But points per game, we gave up 1.42 points per game this year and last year. So we gave up 224 points in 15 games.
Nice. Well, I didn't mean to get off track. When I looked at the stat line, those two kind of stuck out to me. And I said, I have to ask him about this. Yeah. So anyway, I got off track a little bit there, but let's talk about packaging pressures, Coach.
You bet. Okay, so here's kind of what I'll just walk you guys through, just to kind of give you an understanding of where we're at. We are a 4-down base structure team, but we will get into some 3-down, and really we get into like a lot of the Iowa State three high safety stuff is a lot of what we do. But we're going to base and structure things off of 4-down. The reason we do that is the 2 best teams in our conference are going to be heavy wing T 31 personnel, 21 personnel, 32 personnel teams, where we feel like we've got to be able to play bigger bodies to win our conference. That's Brian Early is one of my mentors. He's the D-line guy at Houston. He used to be at Fayetteville High School when I first started coaching here in Arkansas. And that was his approach. When they made their change to a 4-2-5 defense, it was after they had lost the state championship game. And his whole premise was, we've got to be able to beat this team. If we can beat this team, we can beat anybody else. And so we're going to structure what we do on who do we have and what can we do in order to beat this team. And so that's why we kind of base out of 4-2-5 and move around from there. So that's kind of where we're at. So a lot of this is 4-down stuff. We have a lot of 3-down stuff that we think carries over. But I'm gonna share my screen and kind of walk you through kind of our process of how do we put things together, how do we call it, why do we call it, and then I've got a bunch of tape we can look at.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see if I can move this. All right, so I'm going to end up bouncing back and forth between a presentation and another playlist. I did a pressure presentation at a Glacier clinic last year, so the slides will be somewhat. So it was right around this time last year when I did it, and then we all got sent home.
Right.
So here's kind of the goals we talk about every week. I'll let you guys take a look at those, and I can send any of this to you want. So it kind of tells you, hey, this is what we're looking for: 15 or less explosives. Some metrics we like to go by that we think if we hit those, we'll be successful. But the main two are right here in red, which is creating negative yardage plays by pressuring. So we want to win on first down. So we consider a first down win anything less than 4. And then our goal is for 75% or more of the drives where we have a negative yardage play end in 0 points. So those are kind of these are kind of goals we're focusing on in this presentation. So for us, so here's your 2009 numbers right there, Coach. 15 games, 172 negative yardage plays last year for minus 724 yards. So we were 88 of 96 last year. So 92%. This year we were 106 of 116, where if we created a negative yardage play, we allowed 0 points on that drive. We keep that. We share that with every kid so they understand the importance of winning and doing that. So then we also track it here through this is a shared Google Drive. I have my defensive staff work this, and green means we got it, red means we missed it. Your 75% plays are down here on the bottom, negative yardage play tracker right there. So every game, we hit that goal every single game. Last year, we hit it every game this year. And then your first down efficiency goals right here. So we were, 11 of 15 last year in that. So again, we post that every week. We show it to the kids, let them know. Okay, so here's kind of why we pressure. I won't read everything to you guys, but we want to create opportunities to take the football away. We want to create negative yardage plays. We know we can outnumber people. We can overwhelm protection, change the pre and post snap box counts, okay, especially if you guys are defending a bunch of RPOs. We're starting to see more and more of that. Changing who the read guy is, who the fit guy is a big benefit for us, in our opinion. We talk about affecting the quarterback. I know a lot of guys want to hit the quarterback. I love when we hit the quarterback. But I think there's a added benefit and just as much benefit as perceived pressure and real pressure. And so if we've got the MO of being a pressure team, then we can get the ball out quick, even when we start sending simulated pressures where we're presenting it with the same pre-snap look. We may only rush 4, but it's from the same base look where we send overload looks, get the ball out quick. It's a desired effect, right? Reinforces our culture and our philosophy. We have a lot of kids who play both ways. And so what they're going to hear when they're in their offensive meetings is, we're going to attack. We're going to go for the jugular right now. We're going to go. We're going to force the issue. We're going to get after it. I think I would be doing our head coach and our program a disservice if they hear that in one meeting and they turn around and have a meeting with me and we don't have the same mentality and go, okay, we're going to slow down. We're going to be cautious. We're going to keep everything in front. We don't want to give up a play. So we want our kids to have that same mentality, whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams. And then for us, our kids love it. We tell them, we want to do the work on early downs so we can go party on third down. That's kind of the mentality we want to have there. That's kind of why we do it. Here's one thing I'll show you guys. Again, this is not pressure, but this is one of the best things we did. We stole this from Kirby Smart. The effectiveness of shifting the front. I've been amazed in 2 years. We do this a bunch, and it's on tape in the amount of effectiveness we have from this, okay? So we'll get multiple looks. The way we do is we call shift. We call it. The Mike or whoever the box linebacker is, depending on what front we're in and what personnel group we're in, all he's going to say is he's just going to yell shift. And we tell the officials before the game starts, that's what he's doing. He's not saying go. He's not saying now or anything like that. He's saying shift. We're going to have a good idea indicator-wise from film what's happening with the snap count. And we're going to try to time it up. And we are 100% absolutely trying to get them to jump off sides without question or false start.
Right.
So here's a look at it.
When do you do that?
All the time.
What is whenever you get a check with me?
We'll do that.
Are y'all putting a in?
Depending on who we're playing. If they're checking with me because they want the protection shifted, or they're trying to get to a perfect play, that'll dictate kind of what our response is on the check with me. But we will call this before a check with me. Is the film showing up? Are you guys seeing the tape?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this one's kind of late, but you can see it here. So this is the first game of the year. This is from 2 years ago. We call shift. Center snaps it early. Quarterback has no idea what's going on. This is on a 1st and 10 from the -30. So there's our negative yardage play. It's 2nd and infinity. Ball's pinned in. We had just scored on, or we had just kicked off. So it's 3rd and 30. So we do it again on 3rd down. Bad snap, ball's down, quarterback sacked, bring out the punt team. I mean, easy. And I let my D-line guy, I'll tell him what I want to shift to. So I may say something like shift to deuce, and he'll call whatever he wants to get them started where they want to be. I let him dictate that.
Okay, so your D-line guy, whenever y'all signal in, he's calling your front, and then you're signaling to the backers, and your secondary guy signaling to the back. Or are you signaling to the secondary?
The the corners coach signals to the secondary. So I call it, but I don't signal it because my brain can't do that. I can't handle calling it and signaling it. But here it is. Again, that was in week 2 last year. This is in the state championship game from last year. Front, down there in the red zone. We don't get the false start call, but the kid does jump. But I mean, it's cheap. It's really cheap. Right? And this is one of the most effective things we do. We did it last year. We did it all this year. And I've got like 30-something clips I can show you of us just stemming the front, getting a guy to jump. Free yardage type of deal. Right here, this is a time we'll use it. 4th and 1. So we're playing a wing T team here. 4th and 1, shift the front. We get the whole line to jump. So we go from 4th and 1 in plus territory against a team that's going to run the football every single play. Odds are they're probably going to get it. We shift the front. This is the ensuing play. We're going to bring the wheel backer right here to the weak B gap on 4th and 6. Fullback dive, they fumble it, we pick it up, we go score that series. So again, just cheap, easy stuff to move that front around. Okay, so building it. Okay, there's that old question. How much is too much? Do we have enough? Do we not have enough? That's the defense coordinator tango we do every week. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not a KISS principle guy. I think a lot of guys. I know our offensive coordinator. If you give him one front and one coverage every game, he's going to be pumped to get after it. And so we try to be as diverse as we can be. That's what we tell our guys. We'll do as much as you guys can handle. And if you handle a very elaborate plan, we'll have a very elaborate plan. If you can't, we won't. So if you want to have all the fun simulated stuff, and we're ratting out defensive ends and all that fun stuff, you better be able to handle the stuff that's basic first and execute that. So we want to keep it likable, learnable. So I added on to the kill that a lot of guys use. We say efficient and malleable. So efficient for us is we have a bunch of kids go both ways. So is what we're asking them to do something that's worth installing? Is it going to be worth our time to put in? And then is it malleable? If we're going to be multiple personnel groups, multiple front, multiple structures type stuff, can we run these things from multiple looks? So we get a lot of carryover. That way it looks diverse to the opponent, but for us, it's pretty straightforward. So that's kind of our process. Acronyms, I'll get in some tape. Okay, so we are kind of like a TCU structure when it comes to some of our verbiage. So we've got smokes and strikes, we've got dogs, we've got bullets. The majority of our pressures are going to be named TCU wise. If TCU didn't really have it, like some of the third level safety blitz stuff, like Alabama runs, like Maca and some of the snake type stuff, we'll steal that terminology. But for us, smokes, so the way we teach is smokes, safety outside, and we'll call it anywhere: wide, short, tight, away, to the back, opposite the back. And that's all your scouting report stuff. And then we mix and match coverage behind it based on who we're playing. So base is we're going to play a 3 under, 3 deep fire zone structure. But we do have the ability to play some man free. We do have the ability to trap it in certain situations. And we do play a little bit of red, what we call red or zero man, where we'll combo, we'll spy the quarterback and the running back, and then we'll peel replace based on the back's release. So if they're getting 5 out in the route, we'll peel the blitz on the back and we'll add the mic. So for us, this would be a wide smoke. Our coverage families for pressures are all related to things that are hot. So we have hot, torch, blaze. So that's, again, building it into where when a kid hears one of those terms, he should know we're in a pressure scenario. If I hear hot, if I hear blaze, if I hear torch, things that are related to fire, then our guys know, hey, we're in a pressure call right here. So we'll run it that way. That's our base look. For us, slice, if you can see here where it says slice, to us that means we're staying low and inside. That's how we teach that guy. So stay low and inside. So he's going to slice 2 to 1. If one is short, he'll take it. If one is deep, he'll hang with 2. So we tell that guy, you're going to play number 2 with your body. You can play number 1 with your eyes. That's how we teach them. Trap it. We're probably only going to trap if we bring it from the boundary. We don't run a ton of trap to the field. We will trap the corner into the boundary in certain scenarios. Here's our man-free look. So this is where we're going to play man. The Mike's got the quarterback. If the back does flare, if we have a fast 3, we will peel blitz that since we were canceling the B gap with the end. And the Mike becomes the new force rusher to that side, or whoever the middle. 3-by-1 look. The Mike would be removed. The will would be in the box. We would pass the pressure to the Mike. If the Mike, we would pass the pressure to the Mike because the free safety would be down with the star. If the back peeled, the Mike would take 4 strong and the will would replace in a man-free scenario. And then if we had red called, okay, again, now we're playing between the peel blitzer, the Mike, and the will. We're playing 3-on-2 versus how we teach it. We're going to play 3-on-2 versus the quarterback in the back. So whatever direction they go, however they want to release, we don't care. Free. If the back is in the down, what we call in the down, he's in between the tackles, the Mike takes him and the star stays on track. The only time we're going to pass or peel is if he's fast 3 right now. So that's our base run. We'll run that in run calls, and we'll run that in pressure. There's wide smoke right here. We tell the star or the nickel safety, whatever your language is, Sam linebacker, whatever, he is the force blitzer. So he is setting the edge right now. Now we're telling the defensive end he can come under the tackle. If the tackle crosses his face, he can spill to the blitzer, because if we've spilled the puller and we've boxed the kick out, then the Mike or the front side linebacker in this scenario, he should be free, which here he is. He's untouched. So we'll tell that guy to go under. So we're telling that edge rusher, okay, so we're playing trap right here. He's got a force player. He's hard and flat. He's boxing it. So his rule is he's aiming for the deepest shoulder of the deepest back on his side. As soon as we get a mesh, he's now aiming at the back or outside shoulder of that back right there. And if that ball cuts and gets vertical, we should have front side linebacker working over the top. He's going to scrape, and then we're spilling. Our look. blitzer actually gets back in on the play.
So on the read, your star would end up taking the back in that case, and essentially a play side backer would end up being a quarterback player in that situation.
Here's wide smoke again. It's from the field. Okay, I think they complete this ball. No, they don't. Okay, so we're going wide smoke again from the field, 2-by-2 look. So we're telling now this linebacker here, he's going to slice the seam player. So the free safety is down. He's replaced the star. Our weak safety is back. He's the post player. We're going to slice 2-to-1, slice 2-to-1. Corners are mid-pointing. Corners are mid-pointing. And the mic here, it's actually the will for us because the back's away from the star. The middle linebacker is relating to 3. Even though the pressure is here, this guy should be working that direction because that's where 3 is working. Again, ball's out quick, get a hit on the quarterback, we'll take it. Again, so it's not a sack, but it's 1st and 10. We get the ball out now. We hit the quarterback. It's 2nd and 10. We're fine with that. A couple other I'm going to jump back into this one. So here's some tape from this year. Sorry, I had it filtered. I apologize. So again, we'll go wide smoke. We'll go short smoke. We'll smoke the back if we have to. We really do believe in blitzing the back, especially if you're going to try to protect with him. We're going to really try to find out if that guy wants to block or not. Here's a wide smoke with a 3-2 exchange. Okay, so the mic is wrong here. The mic's playing the run. It's 1st and 15. So we would want on this scat motion, probably too fast to pass it to the mic. So we're going to stay. He should widen.
Okay.
He's down. He's back. If it's fast motion and we can't pass it, we're going to run it and expand with the mic. This was this guy's first game to ever play that position, so he was a little lost in the sauce. So the safeties coach needs to do a better job. Great story here. This was ruled a lateral for everybody watching at home. The running back's on the 44, quarterback's on the 42. That was ruled a lateral, by the way, and we lost that game by 1 point.
Wow.
The official told me that'd probably be the only call he missed all year. So here's short smoke right here. So again, we're canceling the inside gaps from the boundary. Now the star is going to slice. Now the will is going to be the slicer. Free player, depending on where the mic is. Free safety's in the middle of the field no matter what. On the single receiver side, we're going to play that. Our technique, we call that is man except shallow. So we call it a mess technique. So he's got him everywhere he goes unless he wants to run underneath the coverage right now. If that's the case, we're going to zone off and look for something coming back to us. So again, just different ways to add a guy. You get a sack right here in 1st and 10, negative yardage play, plus territory. It's cheap. It's easy. One of our adjustments when we're not pressuring, we are a very big middle of the field closed team. So it is not uncommon to see this guy down around the box. The reason we bring that guy a bunch because he's down there a bunch. We bring this guy a bunch because he's down there a bunch. If we're playing middle of the field closed and we're playing a strong side rotation, it's not unlikely to see the mic widen to 3. So then he can blitz if we got it called. So again, trying to marry up what are your base rules and what are pressure looks that can complement your base rules. Because if the only time Mike ever gets outside the box is when he's pressuring off the edge, you guys know as well as I do, you play someone who's good, they're going to find that. But if Mike's playing outside the box and he's a C-gap player on a regular basis, then you've got some protection built in there for your. That's smokes. I'll go back and show you strikes for us is the opposite. So smoke is safety outside, strike is safety inside. It's the only difference. And we're going to tell the safeties in that in that call, they are blitzing the offensive tackle. So in order to get the run fit the way we want it, tackle is to me, I'm going to cross face. Tackle is in a combo away, or he zones away, or he veers away. I'm getting flat down the line right now because I'm the new spiller. We're telling him you're changing roles with the end. So now the end's the boxer, you're the spiller. So he's got to get down flat and inside there. So that's how we teach that. Strike was probably better to us this year, in all honesty, than smoke was. But these are our kind of our run looks. And then we add to these when we start going and sending more than one guy, we build off of these calls. We get into some same as teaching. So here you see we've got a short strike called. We've got 2 speed into the boundary. So now we've got formation into the boundary. So who do we want to blitz? Do we want to blitz the weak safety and have the will replace him? Our base rule is if we have more than 2 into the boundary and we're blitzing from the boundary, we're going to pass it back to this kind of seam look. I would much rather the weak safety carry the seam than the will carry the seam. Right here, we've got a short strike called, but we're going to pass it to this linebacker. So we tell him, again, you're down anyways. So now he's going to play that slice technique. Midpoint here, this is now weak side rotation coverage. So the free safety is the middle of the field player. The star's the force player to the field. Here's our interior blitzer. He's going to read what's happening between the tackle and the guard. And now this Mike linebacker is going to fit off of his normal read key. So you see here, we get power. So the end, I don't like where the end's head is at. I'd like him to be with his head outside the kick out. But the will fits it right. So his tackle is down here, so he's going to work flat underneath. If he gets kicked here, this linebacker should be fitting up over the top. And we tell our guys all the time, I'll go to the end zone so you can see it better. We tell them, guys, we don't care who makes the play. If you guys will fit where you're supposed to fit, somebody's unaccounted for. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, we'll send certain guys because they're better at blitzing, but we should get this, that, and a scrape. Now he presses the line of scrimmage a little bit too much for my liking, but we do fit this from the will and the end. Like see the end stay outside here. Like see his head on this side. But again, his tackle is down. He's in a combo. So now he's going to work flat off that guy's butt. If the guard kicks him, he's going to box it. He should be boxing it back to that linebacker. That linebacker is wrong. But that's the right idea from the blitzer. But again, he's unaccounted for. 2nd and 9. We get a negative yardage play. Get him in 3rd down. Here it is again. Short strike. Now it's a 3-by-1 look. So now we do get the weak safety in it. Now we're going to bump the fit so the star is out. Okay, so when we do play some middle of the field closed or some middle of the field open stuff, the star's wide with 3. So now we're going to tell these guys bump, bump. Keep our normal rules. So now we are in a weak side rotation coverage. So now he's playing your man except shallow. Free safety is the middle of the field player. So again, we get motion. He never crosses. If this guy was to motion all the way back here and get set, we'd pass the blitz. But he doesn't, so we're going to run it. So again, same look here. The end is wide. He becomes the box on the counter look. So this is counter bash. He's going to be the box. The tackle is down, so now he's working inside. There's our extra fitter. So this is later on in the season. So same kid, same pressure. He actually fits it better this time. Right there. And now the blitzer becomes the next box. So what we would tell him is if this ball is handed, we've now boxed it with this guy. We're boxing the next puller with this guy. And you'll see here, if this running back keeps it, now we do have our unaccounted for hat. right here. So we're going to win this double. He's unaccounted for. Okay, we're playing pick and pop on the backside. This guy's really good, so he makes us look really good at times. So he's playing the zone and the quarterback keep at the same time. So it's always good when you have a big athlete to make the coaching staff look smart to win. Okay, here's us going opposite the back. Okay, so this was game plan for us. We had a big, heavy tendency on back to the trips, whether it was fib or not, was some sort of either pass or power read scenario. So we wanted to try to manipulate some of the power read looks, some of the zone looks. So this is actually counter back to it. We had a good feeling the ball was going to go that way. End works out to box. Star's underneath. So the star ends up getting blocked by the first and second puller. See here a little bit better on the tight shot. The end is unaccounted for. So the star gets a 2-for-1 right here. So we'll take that. Ball gets vertical. Here's your backer working up the top. There's your unaccounted for guy. So again, just teach them fits. We're just adding one guy. It's nothing that's earth-shattering. But then for us, we will now partner that and say, okay, let's go to something like what we call dogs and cats. So for us, dogs and cats is going to be a 2 from a side look.
Coach, whenever you're running strikes, do you want your safety's pre-snap look to be the same as Smokes? Is that what you're trying
Preferably.
to look? Okay.
Preferably, especially if we can get if we know we're getting like 5-0 protection, if we can get a heavy set from the tackle, right, and get him to jump out there for us, and we take the guard with us, now we're 2-on-1.
Right.
So again, if he wants to power down on the strike from the second level, that's fine. Now the end's the cop rusher, he's unblocked. But we really want, if we've got an edge look in a pass scenario, we want a big heavy set from that tackle if we can get it. So yeah, we want it to look just like a smoke. And if you watch any of our tape for a long period of time, number 10, it's like playing Where's Waldo before the snap. I don't know what that dude's going to do before the snap, but he made a ton of plays, so I didn't really get after him too much. But he was great at disguising pre-snap. So here's what we tell our guys. So if you know Smokes and you know Bullets, so for us, Bullets is both backers. So then you know what we call dogs and cats. So for us, dogs is going to be classic field scrape, America's Blitz. We'll run it a couple different ways, but we tell him, hey, you're running smoke. That's all it is. And so so this is how we teach it. We start with smokes and strikes, and we build from there. So now all he has to know is if I hear dogs, and we call dogs the same way, wide dogs, short dogs, tight dogs, split dogs, back dogs, opposite dogs. So it looks like we've got a lot of things, but we're just teaching the track, and we build the track from smokes and strikes and bullets. So now we are able to say, hey, this call means you're on this track, he's on this track. This call means you're on this track, he's on this track. It's just like a smoke. It's just like a strike. So once they have that language built into their head, we can start mixing and matching calls any way we want to. And if the nickel safety knows, oh, I'm running wide smoke, well, we've installed something new that week, but it's not new for him. And so we're getting that carryover. Gets back into that. Can we build it? Can we shift it the way we want to? So this is probably our top pressure, especially in early downs. So we're 2nd and 11 right here. So we're going wide dogs. So for us, you'll see here, we have a rule. So here's where we teach it just maybe slightly different. We were getting into scenario 3 years ago. We were running this in the quarterfinals against a really, really, really good team. And we kept having the nose try to cross face, tackle try to cross, both guys long sticking out of 20 personnel looks. Well, we got stuck because we've got an extra gap to defend over here. And so now we have our 2-back, 1-back rules, 2-gap, 1-gap rules, excuse me. If it is a 2-man surface to the blitz side, then both of these guys are going to blitz and long stick this guy. So again, we changed it now. We used to tell him you got to cross face no matter what. Well, if the center is away, we're going to teach it just like the smoke. He's just going to play off the center's butt. Same thing with the guard. If the guard's to me, I cross face. If the guard's away, I go butt side. So that way we're technically two gapping from a one gap structure to make it a little more sound. So here we have a 3-man surface when they add the back. So I think we bust this one up front. This should be a 1-gap rule. So now if we get the back in protection, the mic fits the inside shoulder, the star fits the outside shoulder. He's going to stay, and he's got the B gap. So we're still gapped out on the run fit, but what we're not doing is long sticking both guys and getting power ran right at the long stick and getting washed and gashed. So we made that change.
That's in a 2-back formation, back to me, right?
Yes, back to me. Or if we get a tight end or a Y off,
right?
Same idea. So any kind of a 3-man surface on that overload pressure side, we're saying 1 gap, 1 gap, 1 gap, 1 gap, just to make sure we're sound in the fit. Same here. We get a pass set. Center's away. So now I'm going to insert into A gap. There's no need to try to cross his face. My buddy's already taken him. Guard is away from the end. So he's going to take B. And now the back is up in protection. So now we should be 2-on-1 with the back. So 4/3, any way you want to slice it. We don't care either way how that works. But there's our free rusher. Get your mic free on the quarterback. We'll take that. Now, I think we whiff right here. He's running in there nice and high. But again, this is a building pressure presentation, not a tackling the quarterback presentation. So we'll focus on the fact that we got a free rusher here, but we run it. We get exactly what we want out of it. So coverage-wise, for us, we're playing what we call blaze, or what a lot of people call eyes, where we're playing 3 deep, 2 under. So it looks very similar to so if we are rotating and moving, it's going to look similar to our 1 high stuff. So right now, this looks like smoke. Safety down, safety's back, looks like smoke. He adds on. So now he's playing off the eyes of the quarterback. He's playing off the eyes of the quarterback. This is a peel rule away from the blitz. So we get a fast number 3. We should be peeling with this end. Now we're playing what we call man thirds. So again, it's that man except shallow look. So but we're all playing off the eyes of the quarterback. So you get 3 deep, 2 under with a peel and a 2-on-1 versus the back in protection, which looks like we spent time really, really drilling that. But we taught smoke and we taught bullets. And that's it. And so I think that's the big thing we're trying to do is, can we get to the point where we're able to carry a lot for other teams to prepare for, but it's not a lot for us to have to execute. So again, we get what we want. Get a sack on 2nd down or gain of 1 on the quarterback scramble. That's what we want. Here's us running it to the back. Again, so now we've got a tight number 2. So this should still be a 1 gap rule because the back is here. So now we should be 1 gap, off the tight end, inside the tight end. Now the will, he's got speed to his side, and we're rotating away from him. We're going to say buzz, 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 buzz. Lets him know, hey, you are going to be playing that slice technique off of this guy. Now here's your deep defender. Here's your deep defender. Peel on the back. If the back flares, the star takes him. We're running it to the back. Now we get speed. We're okay here. So again, this is kind of where our motion rules come into play because we're already rotating down to replace the blitzer. So now the will can bump back into the box. We're still running the pressure. There it is. He should still be in the middle of the field. And now he's in the blitz, and now we're playing that man except shallow rule on this side. So we're going to handle the flare. There's our 2-on-1. Again, same rule for the star. Same rule for the star. He's attacking the deepest shoulder of the deepest back on his side. That's his rule. They're going to slide the protection, and they're going to try to dig out the mic. That's fine. So now we're going to run through the back on the way to the quarterback. We're going to make this guy block us. We don't run the one gap stunt here because this guy should be in there occupying this guy. So the mic's the free rusher. So we kind of bust there. But we still get the intended result because the star fits on his track. He runs into a sack. Again, that's a 3rd and 11 call. But we knew this was probably 4-down territory based on who we were playing and what we knew about them at the time. So we figured we were going to get past the look here, so we want to get after it a little bit. But again, designing ways to get free rushers. They go full slide. We win inside. The nose takes the center and the guard. He becomes the free rusher. He's unaccounted for. We're crossing face. Inside, outside, again, designing ways to get somebody unblocked. And our change up off of that, this was actually really good to us this year, especially as we got down into the playoffs. So the opposite of dogs is cats, right? So again, same track. Now we're going to run the nickel safety, the field pressure guy. He's going to run flat and inside, and the mic's going to be the looper for contain in this call. So this is wide cats. Again, we call cats the same way. Wide cat, short cat, back cat, whatever it is. And it gives us a change up. The fits here are still the same. We should still be one gap here. So now the star's working inside shoulder of the Y off. We're working to contain here. We've got 2 speeds. So normally we would be rolling down behind that with the free safety. But because we have formation into the boundary, speed-wise, we're going to invert this and bring the weak safety down because we've already got overload to the field. So now right here, they're just saying, hey, switch it, switch it, switch it. So now the weak safety's down. Again, I feel better. This guy's like a legit 4-4 kid. I feel better about this guy covering that guy than this guy covering that guy. I'd rather let him clean up off the back than make him go walk out there with the speed guy. So this is 2nd and 9 down on the goal line after a turnover. So the star, again, he eats up the tackle and the Y, which is fine. Here's our middle of the field player. Well, everybody's gone, so he's not going to continue to sink and guard the end zone. So we get him. And now we get an overlap to the field. So he's going to end up boxing the kick out, and the free safety is going to end up running the alley inside of this on the quarterback outside zone play. So we get the box from the mic working over the top. So we're down flat inside. Star makes the ball bounce. We recognize run here, so instead of continuing to work cross face, we're going to work to get vertical. It's run to me. So he's going to work back across. Again, don't burn yourself. But because the end fits where he's supposed to fit, the star fits where he's supposed to fit, and the mic makes him cut it back, even if this ball does squirt, you've got a free hitter here and a free hitter here. They're both being unblocked. So, again, just a change up, building the pressure. The star, now we're telling the star, hey, you're running it like strike. Strike for you. So once he knows strike, he knows cats. We're telling the mic, hey, you're running it like what we call mow. So Mike and Will outside. It's mow for you, or it's a smoke for the mic. And we like that because that allows the mic to read out. So if there was something where we got some kind of a Y across, like a split zone look or something like that, the mic can play it a little slower. So he doesn't have to just burn himself and get vertical in the trash. And we definitely don't want him to go run out here for no reason. So we feel like that's a good change, a good run fit, run call for us. Those are kind of our mains. I'm going to show you a couple bullets clips and then show you kind of what our best one is. Am I good on time, Coach?
Oh, hey, Coach. We're on your time. One question on the last one.
You got
If
it.
you get any kind of back flare, Mike becomes a pillar, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they just switched responsibilities.
Switch responsibilities. That's exactly right. Okay, so we get some bullets looks here. I'm going to jump back. Uh-oh. Sorry. I'm going to jump back into this other clinic real quick. Then I'll jump back into the film. So we get our best. So building off of that, our best third down look is we're going to get, if we're in 4 down, we're going to get in 2-3 techniques. We're going to mug the A gaps most of the time. And then we're going to play games with Mike, Will, and the star and the weak safety. We may bring them all. We may bring nobody. This is that front right here. This is Trey. So this is bullets X. Again, ball out quick. This is 3rd and 21. So we're going to bring them both. Right here, our rule, and we go bullets. So normal bullets would be you're gonna blitz your gap. So here's what we would call a deuce in bullets. So deuce is the front. We're playing 2s and 5s. Deuce in tells the nose and the tackle they're going to A gap. So bullets means it's happening in B gap. Deuce out bullets is they're going to 3s. We got bullets in A gap. We go deuce out bullets X. Again, if they know the track, you can get as creative as you want to get with the call. For us, bullets is both backers. So this is a look at deuce in bullets. So again, designing a way, trying to find a way to get a free rusher somewhere. We take the tackle with us. Will linebackers unaccounted for. Here's the shot. So here's why, and I'll get to why we're doing this here in a second. So deuce in bullets, flare, what we call a cop rush, contain on pass, bring in both guys. Guard powers down on the nose, unaccounted for rusher. That's pretty straightforward. We do that so that we can get to this look. And we'll run it. Let me show you Trey. So here's Trey bullets. So now we're in our 2-3s look. Now we're bringing Mike and Will right up the chute, right up in the gap. So again, ball out quick. We tackle it. We do that to build this look. Okay, so for us, if we have any kind of a weather system, rain, hail, bolt, anything that has to do with weather, tsunami, anything that's weather related is a read blitz. So this would, I guess, be considered a simulated pressure here for us. I'll tell you guys, if you run any kind of 4-2 look and you bring both backers, this is the most effective thing we do, and it is cheap and easy. We are going to be in 3 techniques. We're going to show in the A gap, and then we are reading the turn in the center. So we're going to try to manipulate the center's protection. We've experienced in our teams we play that's going to get us in 50 protection most of the time. So we're going to have a one-on-one somewhere. It's going to look a lot like bullets. But again, if the point of pressuring is to affect the quarterback, this is how it looks. So for us, Trey's the front. Rain is the call. So rain is we're going to read A gap. So rain, read A gap. We're reading the center. If the center looks to you, you're out. Center doesn't look to you, you go. And we tell our guys, go till you know. If he's going to soft pedal it and play, then we'll both go. If he looks at a guy or touches a guy, we're both rushing. That's the hardest part of coaching this is you're going until you're not. It's not, I'm not going unless he doesn't look at me. You're rushing until you're not rushing anymore.
Right.
And then you're going to become the rat. This is one of the most beneficial things we put in, and it's very cheap. Okay, so here it is. Here's your mugged up front. The coverage is hot here, so 3 over, 3 deep. So we got our nickel safety here, weak safety here. Here's our free safety. Okay, so we're just going to read the turn of the center. Goal is to get a free rusher, get the ball out now. which we do. That's the one I was thinking about earlier that they completed. That's the same game we saw at the first clip. But here's the end zone shot of it. Trey Rain. So we're both working the center. Center looks at the wheel. So now the mic is in it. So the wheel should rat. We should work for contain. 2-way go for the tackles. Ball out now. So again, we get the quarterback off platform. He throws it off his back foot. We don't make a play. We should go make a play. Here it is again. This is to empty. That's exciting to run it to an empty set. We tell our guys, hey, in empty, we're going to get after it. See there, the mic. Center works to the wheel. So our mic, he's going to rat all the way out to 3. This look here. Excuse me, the mic works to the mic. Mic's going to rat. The wheel's going to go. He's deep. The mic is now slicing 3-2. Same slice rules we had on earlier. Are slicing 2-1. We should be down inside of 2. Midpoint. So it's still a 5-man pressure, 3 under, 3 deep versus empty. So right here we ran it with a twist. This was later in the year, so we were getting pretty. This was last year's state championship game, so we were getting pretty creative. We're going to loop this guy all the way around. So this is psycho. Okay, so it's 4th and 10. A little twist game with the rain stunt. Mike finds the hot. Then we're off the field. Ball's out quick. You can mix and match your stunt game with it any way you want to. Here's the end zone shot. Read pressure here. And we're going inside, loop for opposite contain, loop for opposite contain. This is with our speed personnel rush group in. So if you see up here it says cheetah, that's our 4 down. We put speed rushers in type of deal. Our 4 fastest dudes is the way. There's the center, works to the mic. Mike punches out. Will gets in the pressure. All out. We win 4th down.
Okay. Coach, your philosophy empty. Are you going to pressure him out of it, or are you going to try to drop more?
My thought is, why are you an empty? Empty because you want to screen it, get the ball out fast now? Are you an empty because you can't run the football? Are you an empty because you want to throw the football stretches vertically? A lot of that to me is, what are you trying to do?
Right.
If you live in empty and that's a thing that you do, we're going to have a plan for you.
Right.
If you jump in empty 4 times a year and you want to get an empty against us, we're going to come light you up and see just how good you are at it. Because if you're a 20 personnel power counter team and then you want to get an empty for 4 days to see what happens, we're going to light it up and make you live in it. Or if you're not good up front, we're going to find your worst dude. Like we have that's one of those slides in that presentation. We're looking for dudes and duds. We want to take away your dude and we want to attack your dud. If you put your worst guy at left guard, we're going to know. We're going to try to figure out a way to get after that dude. If you want to get an empty with that guy, be our guest type of deal. If someone's in it 20% of the time, then yeah, we're going to have a detailed plan. We're trying to identify, where do they put the back? The thing where they're just motioning the back out. Is it designed for quarterback run? Or are they sub-personnel 5, true 5 wide? And is their best receiver move into the slot? Are they trying to get him matched up on the mic? And then coverage-wise, what can we do to protect against that guy?
Right.
So, again, it goes back to we want to have enough answers in the box where we can do our best to take away what you do best type of deal.
Gotcha.
Here's rain again. This is from the quarterfinals a couple years ago. This is a run look on 2nd and 10. So we get power, read. Mike stays inside. He's got the center blocking back. So Mike's going to go. If we get down, he's going to try to cross face, which She does a decent job here. We've got an X stun on up front, so we're Xing the end and the tackle, which plays into our hands pretty well right here. So again, we run the pressure on a 2nd and 10 call. Feel like we had an idea personnel-wise what we were going to get. A good run.
And you're getting your start down in the box because it's 20 personnel?
Yes. Yeah, he's showing now because he knows this team was a heavy run team and max pro team. So we were going to play it where we had a couple calls in where we're going to bring him too. We had some 7-man stuff. So we wanted him as close to the box as he could get for that reason. But yeah, they were big 2011 Y off.
Right, and your Y is not a vertical threat, so you're able to play around with the start a little better.
Exactly right. So here's your range stun again, and I'll move on after this. But again, ball out quick. It's 3rd and 8. Okay, we're in plus territory here. Again, we want the ball out. This kid was really good. This kid can run. We want him not touching the ball as often as possible. So we get the ball out now. Now it just turns into pursuit drill. Right, got the ball out, go run, go fit it up, get off the field. It's bad fit by the nickel safety here. He jumps back inside. You can see it on the end zone shot. He jumps back inside, crosses that guy. He stays outside. We got to play. But again, ball out quick. Type it, get the quarterback out of the way. What we'll build off of that in some of our 3-down looks, we'll get into this look. So again, weather system, hail. So now we've got rain is we're reading the center. So now hail, we're going to add to that some sort of a 6-man look up front. And now we're going to read the center and both tackles in this scenario. So this could be a 6-man pressure. This could be a 3-man pressure, depending on what happens. But we'll play a couple different coverage looks behind it. Here's kind of the breakdown of it. So here's how that looks on the slide. So now if we were in a 4-down look, we would get in tray. We would tell the tackle in the nose here, widen out. So we're going to run the range stunt right here off the center. So again, carryover, building up a package. So now the Mike and the Will know for them in a 4-down look, rain and hail is the exact same thing. We're drilling the same read for those guys. We're getting the same look for those guys. Now we're playing different games around them. So again, we're layering in calls. But we're not teaching a whole lot of new. And so that's to me, if we're talking about building a pressure package, is what are things that give me easy carryover that I can mix and match together to get something that's really diverse, but I'm not having to spend 5 periods going over blitz review. So again, same look. Good to us last year, and then I'll show you one more, and then we can kind of go like Q&A if you want to at the end. But we have 2 looks off of this. So here's rain. Again, this is out of 3 down, but if you think about it, here's your end and your tackle. Here's your Mike and your Will. Your end and your tackle. Same presentation. You can run this out of 4 down. You can run it out of 3 down. We run it out of both. So again, just trying to vary the looks, trying to present. We will bring everybody out of that. But again, we get a quarterback pressure. Should have had a sack. I'll show you the end zone here in a second, but we get exactly what we want. I'm going to slide away from the end. The end is free. If he'll just keep running, he'll run into a sack. So now we have these 2 guys reading this tackle. We have the nose and this Mike linebacker reading the center. And you got the end and this outside linebacker and that tackle. Same reads. So they go full slide. He's free. Okay, the tackle is down. So now he should be dropping and he should be adding. But again, we get a free rusher off the edge, which is what we want. Quarterback feels pressure. He had it all the time in the world if he just makes a good throw. But again, perceived pressure. And these guys were much more talented than we were, and so we knew we were going to have to bring in a bunch. So we were coming from everywhere that game. Same game, same call. Now this is out of 4 down. So here's your Trey Hale call. So we ran it out of 3 down. Now we ran out of 4 down. Same look. Handle the motion with the star. Here you see gap pull here. So now our nose is unblocked. So he'll go. It's blocking the wheel. So the wheel should drop. The mic should add. Tackle is down. The end should be out. The tackle should be out, and the end should be off the edge. So again, just another way to get to it. But we get fast screen in the boundary here. And because the way they block it helps us, tackles to the end. So now the end's running out to the boundary. Get your eyes outside, go tackle the first guy you see. So because they pulled, they actually helped us in this call. So we get, again, free rushers. So can you guys cut in Louisiana?
No.
Big old boy gets cut. But
they can chop on initial contact in the box.
Same rule as us then. Here it is again, Hale concept again, marrying calls, layering calls. I think this is again out of a 4 down look here. So we're in nickel, we're in our tray front again. This is last year in the semifinals. Same presentation as bullets, same presentation as rain. It all looks the same. So now we're building calls based on what we want. Again, is the guy open? He's open. Catches it as a conversion on 4th and 4. It absolutely is. Because we get pressure and we get the ball out quick now, maybe he's a half second early. Yeah, I don't care. We won on 4th down. We got off the field. To me, that's all I care about. And so, again, just another way, if you look at the end zone shot, here it looks the same. These 2 guys on this guy, these 2 guys on that guy, these 2 guys on that guy. Same idea. Try to get cut right there. But tackles down. Number 18 punches out. So we get a big set here. Tackle's going to work there, so he's going to wrap.
Gotcha.
Again, same idea. It's inexpensive. So what we'll do when we drill this, here's how we work this. We'll get a coach here. We'll get a coach here. We'll get a coach here. And we just put bodies. And we'll have the rest of the line over here. And you just work your way. So you'll be on the outside shoulder to tackle, inside shoulder to tackle, left shoulder to center, right shoulder to center. And we just work. And I tell all the coaches, just pick. I don't care. Make them read it. And so now in a 5-minute period, every kid's going to get at least 6 reps doing this. So we can rep this. You know, we'll install this early in the spring. We'll install it in the fall, and we rep it a handful of times. And they know in these calls that's what they're going to do. And so again, what the front looks like, what the personnel looks like, who's lined up where, all of that stuff looks different to an opponent. For us, we're running our read pressure game. Doesn't matter who's lined up where. We know based on the call, I'm on the inside, I'm on the outside, I'm reading this guy. That's it.
Gotcha.
So we're telling these guys, like this defensive end, we're not, I'll be honest with you, we're not teaching them a whole lot of coverage, 3-2 exchange rules, and all that stuff. We're telling them you stay low and don't let anybody cross your face. That's the idea. And then our last one that we'll run off of this, we ran it this past season a handful of times. We didn't run it very much, but when we did, it was good to us. Okay, so let's do this. We just went over hail. So we have a simulated look off of this. Sim pressure. Okay. So again, same presentation. We've got a couple different bodies lined up in different spots. For us, this is called Vic. Okay, so Vic played for the Falcons. We're gonna pressure from the field. The way we teach that. The same look, if we want to bring the boundary corner off this look, we call it Wilson, because we call some pressures. We have some one-word pressure calls that are based off NFL teams. It's like Washington is from the short side of the field, Atlanta's from the wide side of the field, Falcons, Seahawks, all that stuff. So this is Vic. So again, same presentation, 6 wide. This is going to be only a 4-man rush. And so we bust the coverage. This is supposed to be, if this was a 2x2 look, then we would be in trap. We trap 4 under 2 deep. If there's 3 on a side, we should be in hot, or our 3 under 3 deep look, even though it's empty. So what should happen here, the end is the slicer, the corner's on the midpoint, weak safety's down in the middle of the field, end is up the field, cop rush. So back to that strike path for the star, same idea. The wheel is showing in A gap. He's going to go slice 3, slice 2, midpoint. He's going to punch out. He's the middle third guy, and we're going to work cop rush across the center's face. So the tackle here, he's going to be cop to the boundary. Tackle to the field is going to try to occupy the center. Guard, we're going to go 2-on-1 with the tackle. So we don't fit it great on coverage. Again, we get what we want. It's 3rd and 17. We're showing we've already been in this look, and we ran bullets. Or excuse me, we ran rain out of it earlier. Same look. So now we're going to give them a different look out of the same package. Again, we get what we want. The will is right. If the will would just find the stinking ball, get picked too. But he does exactly what he wants. What we want him to do, he slices out underneath number 3. So we get what we want out of the star as well. I'll show you the end zone clip here. So we should be getting step and drop, contain rush, cross the center, slice, take the tackle, star underneath. So this is one of our simulated pressures here. Again, still based off that 3 techniques: double mugged up A gap, rain, bullets look. Different.
Coach, are you ever going to personnel package this? And I'm really talking about the end. Whenever you're dropping a guy, or are you going to say, "Hey, look, you're going to learn how to do this"?
This guy, he's going to learn how to do it because he's a freak.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he is a freak, and so he's going to be a big time player. He's just a sophomore, and he's about 6'4", 260.
Yeah, he's pretty.
And can play with some good technique, and he can run. So he going to play. He actually has one of we have another clip of him that he is actually on the slice technique. He's our teaching tape because he's slicing from a 5 technique, and he slices 2 into the seam, and they run seam dig, and he passes the seam off and sits on the dig.
Nice.
Different opponent. So yeah, that guy, yeah, I'm gonna let him do it. If I'm ratting out somebody else, we can easily switch the bodies.
Uh-huh.
You know, if I'm going to give this guy the back, if I feel more comfortable, I can put the mic out here and let the mic be the slice guy.
Right.
Manipulate the bodies, manipulate the front. Originally, when we had this drawn up, the will and the end were switched, or the will and the tackle were switched. And then I said, well, if we get 3x1, we're asking the nose to go slice number 3. If we're going to play, let's do it different. So we thank goodness we ended up switching it. We want right here. The star's a little hesitant. I don't think he thought it was going to open up like it did. He will just run underneath. He's going to be untouched because he falls back here. But we get what we want. Right? Tackle or guard away, tackle 2, stars unblocked. and we're only rushing 4. So again, we're presenting it. It's built off the same looks. You watch our tape, you're going to see us in this look bunch. Now we've started layering calls and going, okay, once we teach one thing, now we can start adding to this. Again, we'll bring it from the boundary where we bring the end, we bring the corner underneath, we fly the mic out, we trap the safety over the top. We run the same pressure, we just run it the other way. We'll do it both ways. So again, bringing different looks. And then we'll bring another look off this we call Manning. So again, NFL quarterbacks, Manning, Wilson, Vick, all built off the same look. We'll drop both ends. Cop rush from the tackles. Bullets from these guys. And the safety who's not in coverage, he's got the follow blitz. So we'll go 3 right down the chute. That was all off the same look.
But we run that, and it's pretty nasty, man. You're going to be successful 9 times out of 10 whenever you do run that stunt.
Yep. And so the only thing that's different for us is coverage-wise. Called torch. We're telling the ends you're out no matter what. Mm-hmm. So for us, again, safety blitz with snake names are man coverages for us. If we call Viper red, it's the same track, and now we're bringing 7. So so there's more carryover. So now we're telling the ends, we're telling everybody, again, stealing it from Alabama, everybody's blitzing the back. So if the back is to you, you got him. And then everybody else is in the rush. So whether we call Viper or we call Viper or Manning, for the guys who are pressuring, it's the exact same. So again, finding ways within whatever your system is to marry up, hey, we've already got this in, but now we can manipulate it, drop the ends out. Now we're only bringing 5 instead of 7. We can do it this way. And so just, again, layering those calls to where you get what you want out of it. So we'll do that. And then the last call off of it is we will run what we call bolt. Another weather system, same idea. We're reading. So now bolt for us is both outside guys lock. Now we're showing a 6-man pressure. So now we're beating the slide. So if we know we're getting slide pressure, one of the edge guys is going to be free. Don't care who he is. So now everybody's reading the protection. If the slide is away from me, I go. If they slide to me, I drop. But both outside guys are locked. So now we're going to get a free guy off the edge. And if we can split the slide, if they slide away from me, I go. So that's bolt. So bolt's both outside guys lock. So this is out of a 3-down look. So this is a linebacker. This is our dime safety. This is out of our 3 high safety look. So we're going to bring him off the edge. We're going to bring him off the edge. These 2 guys are on the read. These 2 guys are on the read. So again, manipulating fronts and calls, looks, but there's our free rusher, 3rd and 10 from the end zone, ball's out quick right now. Again, do we want to sack him and get a – yeah, you bet. So the dime's going to come all the way down. He's off the edge. Read, edge. There you see old big 79. He's just hoping to drop into coverage. Nose guard's dream. He actually plays screen pretty well, but there's that big old 58. So you ask who do you personnel it? He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore.
Wow.
This guy's he's been 44 is our Mike. Is our linebackers coach. He's about 6'2", 240. So we do have good players. I'm not that guy going, we don't have good players. We have good players. Actually just picked up a couple D1 offers over the past couple weeks. But these 3 guys up front are all sophomores. And then 22 is a 3-time state champion wrestler in 2 different weight classes. So he's fun to have play linebacker too. Mm-hmm. There's your bolt look. Again, trying to manipulate the protection. Same team, we run it twice. So this week we were having the dime. So this is a 3-safety look. The dime was adjusting to any 3-man surface. We get tight end wing into the boundary. So he's the adjuster. So now we're going to run the bolt look on the other side. Slide away from the mic. Ball's out fast. They pitch it and catch it. Again, 3rd and 6. I'm coaching up the corners here in the safety saying we got to play better coverage because we get what we want up front. It's catch and throw, balls out now. Why are we playing soft? We're bailing out. We got to play better than that. And then kind of the capstone here. So this is in the semifinals at our place this year. This team that came in was undefeated, ranked number 1 in the state, was averaging like 50 a game. And they got some dudes. They got some really good dudes. This cat right here is like 6'4", 215 receiver. And we were up 56-0 at half on these guys.
Wow.
And this was the last play of the second quarter. So you can tell. So we blocked 2 punts on the first 2 possessions. We're up 14-0, like a minute and a half into the game, and it was on. So this is Bolt. This is what I was telling you about number 10. No idea where he's going to be. Mm-hmm. So this is 3-safety structure. Here's your read. Here's your read. Edge. He's the edge blitzer, believe it or not. I about had a heart attack when I saw how deep he was. But, again, same stunt. For him, that's our star. That's our nickel safety. So he's just running smoke. The same thing for him. Now, he runs it from 20 yards deep. But we get what we want. We get a free rusher. We manipulate the right tackle. Big 58 gets it out. It's scoop and score off to the end zone right before halftime. And that was the dagger.
Dagger.
Right there. But again, a call that we've built in over time matches up to what we do that complements some of our other calls. Because this guy, this is the Will linebacker. He has had a smoke passed to him from the weak safety, and he got smoke. This is the nickel safety. He's from the field. He's ran a smoke before. These guys in here, now they're reading the slide of the guards, but they've done that before when we run hail. Nobody here, even the weird presentation and a different look, nobody's doing anything they haven't done before. This is in the semifinals.
You're changing verbiage and, essentially responsibilities and techniques stay the same.
Certain calls are going to dictate, hey, this tells us we're in this type of a coverage, or it tells us, hey, we're in dime right here. So for us, we know we're in 3-safety, 3-high safety structure. So now we have a little bit of a different presentation to it. The actual what's happening in the box here, nobody's doing anything they haven't done all year. It's that layering. So you talk about, again, building a pressure package. So we've got a lot of layers to it, but we're not presenting anybody with something new week 14. This is what they've ran. You can see 32 punching out here, 70 punching out, and we get what we want. We're off to the races. And all of those calls are built off of that. You run smokes. Can you run strikes? Can you run bullets? If you can run those, we can run dogs. We can run cats. We can run rain. We can run hail. We can run bolt. We can run all kinds of stuff. And we didn't get into, we'll mix and match some D-line games and add a smoke. So, we can mix and match pressure stuff and twisting and all that stuff and add a smoke or add a strike. To me, it is the idea is how do we build off of what we do that's already in our base stuff, and then how can we make that into something that looks like an exotic blitz package, but for our guys, it's pretty straightforward. I think that's where on that last play, the nickel safety and the kid we're playing corner were both freshmen. So we bring our freshmen up in the playoffs. So we're starting 2 freshmen in the state semifinals. But because we have vertical alignment in our program, those guys they may not have known what bolt was when they got to us in the first week of the playoffs. But when I tell the nickel safety guy, say, hey, you're playing it just like hot. The dime's going to go. You're not going. You play it just like hot. He now knows the call. So if we've got the carryover built in, then we can get pretty creative with what we're doing to an opponent. So what we're presenting to an opponent is multifaceted, but what we're asking our guys to execute on a week-to-week basis is not a lot.
Right. Very similar to what offenses are attempting to do with formation. They're manipulating based on formation and running the same plays out of it. And
right. Yeah, you may have 18 dudes on one side of the line of scrimmage, but if you're running counter Trey week, it's counter Trey week.
Right.
You know, and that's what we're trying to do. And again, I've been fortunate. I've learned a lot from our head coach on packaging plays and creating multiple looks out of base schemes, multiple looks out of base schemes. And we're in the Gus Malzahn tree. And so our head coach, he coached here earlier when Josh Floyd was here. Josh played quarterback for Gus. And so we're very much into that. We want to be aggressive. We want to have all the misdirection, everything you can possibly think of. So kind of my thought when I got here was, how can we take that philosophy offensively of misdirection and motion and sleight of hand, and we're going to try to draw your eyes here, and we're going to try to overload you here, and still be simple with it. Because if our guys can execute it on offense, there's not a reason they can't execute it on defense.
Right.
And so if they're able to do that, again, it gets back to we will be as diverse as you'll let us. And so we'll script it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in practice. And usually Wednesday night after practice, we'll have a little defensive meeting and we'll meet coaching staff wise and go, what do we need to get rid of? You know, because I'm guilty. I'll throw a bunch of stuff on the board on Sunday. But I don't want it on the call sheet if I'm not going to be in the call. And there's been stuff that we've thought's been really good. We've had to take off because it's too much.
Right.
Our kids couldn't do it. And we'll come back to it. Like we tried to install Bolt. And we tried to install Vic, that simulated pressure. We tried to install that in the summer. And that clip that we ran it was week 5. And we weren't ready to run it till then. We couldn't do it. But to me, I think just to get back to the main topic here is whether you're 3 down, 4 down, middle field open, middle field closed, do you pass your blitz? Do you not pass your blitz? Are you a man blitz team? Are you a zone blitz team? You're going to know what you're going to be most beneficial with and most successful with. That's fine. My encouragement is keep adding layers. Here's where I say that. We got in the state championship game last year, a team that was more talented than us, and we didn't have enough answers. Because after we threw the best stuff we had at them and they started picking up stuff, we didn't have enough. And so that was kind of one of my offseason things is how can we create more looks? How can we get into more diverse calls without overwhelming our guys, making them think like, holy crap, we're learning a whole new defense this year.
Right.
And so, again, they got to be able to run it. But I'm very much on that same school of thought of I would much rather have too many tools in my tool belt and only need a hammer than to only have a hammer and need a bunch of other tools.
Absolutely, Coach. You know, and then whenever I go, I've in 15 years, I've only been to 3 schools. But when you do go to a new school and you have a new staff and you're starting to, you know, incorporate your defense and build it, and they're looking at it going, oh, Coach, I don't know if we can do all that. Well, first of all, we can.
Yes.
And you know, I'd rather have the bullets and not need them. You know,
right.
And then when we get into it, they go, okay, we're not doing a bunch of stuff. You know, it's the same thing except the same thing except. Once they break it down like that. You know, it all kind of comes together, but at first they see it and it's like, oh wow, this is a bunch.
Yep.
You know, and the kids do the same thing. That's why I think the presentation, the level, and how much we're presenting to the kids at a time. Like you hit the nail on the head when you said, I'm going to teach them 3 base principles, and everything else is based off of that, going to build off. As long as they know that, then we can be as elaborate as they can handle.
That's right. And so then that's where you get into, I think when I came in, so just, Shilo has always been known for great offense. Mm-hmm. Always. Rhett Lashley, who's the OC at Miami, played quarterback here and lit it up. I mean, he threw for 1 billion yards. And Gus was the head coach. Gus Malzahn coach here. Josh Floyd, Hewitt Trustville coach. I mean, it's offense. And so we had to, when we got here, we had to overhaul the mentality of, like, guys, winning 56-49, not acceptable. Like, we had a game in our state last year, like, Pulaski Academy. I'm sure you've heard of Kevin Kelly. So they play Harbor, which is in Springdale where we're at. It's a 7A school. PA is a 5A school. PA beats them 80-64.
Wow.
And, like, I'm telling our guys, guys, if we win a game and we give up 64, I'm not coming to work next week. Like, I'm going to have to go home and, like, keep myself from jumping off the bridge when I drive home, because if we have to score 80 to win, I'm going to start looking for not a new job, a new profession, because no one's going to hire me.
Right.
If we're giving up 60. And that's not a knock on that dude, because PA's really good on offense, but just that was kind of the accepted mentality here was, well, as long as we just score 1 more point. And that is true, but that was kind of hey, we're going to take pride in playing defense, and we're going to do it really, really well. And I worked for a dude at Springdale who was at West Monroe in the early 90s. So I'm not familiar with any of those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Eric Middleton was he was a co-DC there or something, like when Brady James and all those cats were playing there, and they're playing Evangel every year in Superdome. And he always said it at Springdale, and I always thought it was kind of funny, but when I got back into being a coordinator, I was like, he's kind of right. It's just getting the mentality. And he would say, he forgive me for the language, but he said, we can kick your ass in base, but that wouldn't be very much fun.
Right.
And so trying to get our guys around that mentality of, like, we're going to whip you, but we want to whip you the way we want to whip you.
Right.
We want to have fun doing it. And so I think the first year we kind of had some guys who were really on the fence. And then the second year, once our guys figured out, like, hey, we can win on defense. Like, we can win games on defense. Like, we can be good on defense and on offense. We really took off that second year. And then last year and this year, we were really good. I think we were all there. Say that again.
The buy-in. Once you got the buy-in.
Yeah. Oh, culture-wise. I mean, we're to the point now. So in Arkansas, we have a mercy rule. So if you're up by 35, clock runs in the second half.
Really?
We're to the point, like, I had a situation on our sideline this year where we had our third string in against the team. We were up like 50-0 or something like that. The other team had their first string in at the end of the game. And they score, which probably should happen. If your first team's in against 30, you probably should score.
Right.
So, okay, our kids were playing hard on that stuff. I've got kids behind me just berating the third string for giving up a touchdown. I mean, just wearing them out about giving up a red zone. Like, one of our big things is we don't give up rushing touchdowns in the red zone. Like, you're going to have to throw it type of deal. Like, we don't let people run the football into the end zone. That's one of those mentality things. And they run, like, quarterback, counter bash, like a couple different forms of eye wash, and our kids are lost in the sauce. They have no idea. And so it's the game's over. It's 50 to whatever, and our guys are pissed. I mean, they are absolutely pissed that someone scored on us. And so I made the comment to the head coach, like, now the culture has changed.
Yep.
When the first team guys are holding the third team guys to the same expectation of, like, people don't score on us. Like, people don't score on it. They don't do it. then you know you're getting somewhere. And for us, I think in the playoffs, so in the playoffs we faced the number one 2023 kid in the state of Arkansas, quarterback, dual threat kid. And we beat those guys 28-0. And they were averaging like 44 a game. He was averaging like 400 yards total offense a game. And we held those guys like 200 something. The next week, we played a team that had the number 3 overall rusher in the entire country. So when he came up to play us, he had already rushed for 2,400 yards this year. And in the first 2 playoff games, he had rushed for 1,000 yards. Or not 1,000, excuse me, 500 yards by like 8 touchdowns in 2 playoff games.
Wow.
And we held that guy to like 120, and he didn't score. And then in the state championship game, we went 5 for 6, no points in the red zone. And so it's cool. It's been cool to see is our guys, like they get it now.
Right.
Like, they get a stop and they're coming off the field and go, hey, red zone stop, red zone stop, red zone stop. And so building that in, we've really benefited because now to me, there's a whole lot more impact when I say, hey, guys, we don't do that. As to when the sophomore defensive end who's a freak is turning around and saying, hey, we don't let people score in red zone. That's not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen. And so when you start seeing stuff like that, it's fun as a coach because the picture you've been trying to paint is finally coming together. I mean, that's the same kid. Right. Last year, we're playing in the junior high conference championship. Well, 5 weeks before, that same wing T team that we play in our conference that's really good, they come over to our place in junior high and they beat us 36-0. They kick our teeth in and they make us like it. It was bad. And he's the same kid after that game is on the field because we knew if we won out, we would host the championship because they had lost to somebody else by more or something like some tiebreaker or whatever. But like he called the shot. He's like, we will play those guys again. We will play them on our field and we will beat them. And lo and behold, we went out. They go up. We beat those cats 42-6 in a junior high game. And it's like, I don't care if you're 15 or not, dude, I'm going to rock with you. No, but he gets it. Like he understands what we're trying to get them to understand. And when that happens, I mean, you've been coaching long enough. When you got kids they're the ones who are holding everybody accountable. The other kids are willing to let themselves be held accountable by their teammates. You're going to be successful.
Absolutely. I mean, they hear us every day. It does not mean the same coming from your coach and coming from your teammate.
Absolutely.
And, when you have those guys on the field, it's like it's better than having coaches on the field and your level of play, depending on what kind of talent's on the field means absolutely nothing whenever you have 100% buy-in like that.
That's right. And just seeing, so we do a big thing where like we're fist up 4th down. So we get a stop on 3rd down. It's everybody on the sideline, even the offensive coaches, which our defensive line or our offensive line coach is probably a defensive line coach at heart. So he really gets it and he's huge. And so when he's telling everybody to get their fist up, everybody complies, which is great for me. But I mean, it's to the point now where like the PA announcers saying it, we've got fans in the stands with their fist up on. It's like this whole culture of like, it's cool we finally got it to where it's cool to play defense.
Right.
Type of deal. I was telling you about that cheetah package. Our dads from that team 2 years ago had 24 seniors on it. A couple of them had played in college and a couple of them hadn't played, like got it, like they get the whole picture type deal. So when we're changing personnel, like we don't have a track on our field. So our stands are really, really close. And it got to the point, we put that package in my first year. It was okay. Second year was pretty good. Last year was really good for us. To where like it's anytime it was like 3rd and 3+, like we've got dads in the stands screaming, cheetah, 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 because they want to see that personnel group go in.
Right.
Because that's a fun group to be on. And we tell those guys, if we're putting you in, it's because you're the 11 baddest dudes we got. And you may be a corner, you may play defensive tackle and go rush the quarterback. But if you're on this package, it's because you're a bad dude. And you better wear it with with some pride, because we'll get you off. And what's been cool for us is, like, I always wear out the D-line coach about getting pressure with 4. Hey, man, we wouldn't have to do all this. We just sack the quarterback with 4. Just got to get home with 4. If we can get home with 4, we'll be fine. Nothing pisses off the defensive line coach and the defensive lineman like putting the cheetah package on the field.
Right.
So now it's like, I always tell those big guys to say, hey, I'll give you the first third down. You better get there. Because if not, I'm going to put those cats on. And so, like, it raises their level up. It's like, I don't want to come off the field. I just took in the teeth on a double team on a gap scheme 2 plays in a row. Like, I want to have fun now. So it's like, all right, you better go get the kid. And so, it's built up this culture of dudes really like it. And so when you, like you said, when you've got buy-in, what we harp on is how we do what we do is always going to be more important than what we do.
Exactly.
And we finally got to the point where kids understand that, like, man, if you'll just run to the ball, just run. If you'll just run as hard as you can and try to fit where you're supposed to fit, you're going to run into plays. You will. Like, you'll run into opportunities. And so getting kids to understand how we do it is way more important than what the call is.
Absolutely.
And that buy-in is representative of that. I could talk forever. I know it's long, so I apologize for being long-winded, but I like talking about defense. So,
hey, Coach, I'm right here with you. I could do it all night. And actually, if I don't know if y'all do, but I wouldn't mind going up there and meet with y'all.
Come on.
And come and sit down with you and spend a day or two talking football. I'm always down for that.
Yeah, we've had a couple staffs come in just this off season, anyways.
Our house got destroyed in the hurricane.
Oh man, are y'all down around Lake Charles?
We're right around Lake Charles. Yes, sir. We're probably 20 miles outside Lake Charles.
Okay.
And so I have 35 acres in Center, Texas. And
okay.
So I'll be moving there and building a house right now as we speak. So I'm a little more further north. I think I've gotten out of I hate to say it, but out of a path of any other ones, because this was house number 2, and so
wow.
Yeah, it was time to go north a little bit. But I would love to come meet with y'all and sit down and talk about football. And so I'll be in touch. But Coach, we appreciate you coming on, sharing your knowledge of the game. Enjoyed it.
Hey, let me do this real quick. Give me
Go
a
ahead.
second. Oh, sorry. Where's my mouse? There it is. Sorry, I have a wireless mouse. Let me do this. I'm going to put my contact up. So if anybody wants it, I got no issues sharing stuff, giving out information, sharing tape. None of that bothers me. Hold on, I'm trying to. Let me do this. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yep.
I've usually got a slide I put on there, but there's my email, my phone, and my Twitter. I will respond to all three. If you ask my wife, I'll probably respond to Twitter faster than anything. That's her assessment, anyways. But I'm cool if you guys send that out. I don't care. I love talking about football. So if guys want to text back and forth, if you guys want to share film back and forth, just different stuff that we do. Again, that's what we talked about tonight. It's a good portion of what we do, but we do a lot. So I like getting and sharing ideas, and then again, call, text, whatever. I'm good either way. But Coach, I really do appreciate the opportunity. I think anyone who's going out of their way to put Zoom clinics on a Wednesday night in March, you got to love football. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come on. I would love for you guys to come up and see us, and we can get together and get on board and talk ball.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. I appreciate you coming on. And also, coaches, I thank y'all for joining in. You can watch this clinic as well as our past clinics on Speak Hill's Football YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. You can also catch our podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. Coming up, we have in the next couple of weeks, we got a few good guys coming on, some podcasts. We have Coach Chris Towery talking pass pros. That's going to be an online clinic. And we also have a run game question and answer with three pretty knowledgeable guys, Coach McLaughlin, Coach Valdez, and Coach Bronkhorst. And they'll do a kind of a three-way question and answer gun run, I believe. And then we have Coach Shane Savoy talking quarterback mechanics. Podcast over the next couple of weeks. We have former pro wideout, now Southern University wide receiver coach Vincent Marshall, and former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Quincy Carter will be coming on doing a podcast. And so I think he's doing clinics. And if you go to our page, you'll be able to check it out. We have a few brochures for his clinic. His I believe his quarterback camps is what he's doing. And we have a lot more that we're trying to lock down dates on. Coach John Kay, North Shore out of Houston. Great guy, great coach. He has a really cool story, but he's going to be coming on. We're just trying to lock down a date and time. And, as soon as we get all that done, we'll be able to let y'all know and check out our Facebook page and Twitter page, and you'll be able to see all our upcoming stuff. So if y'all ever need anything, or any coaches, staffs are looking for anything in particular, we try to get those guys lined up from what requested. And Coach, once again, man, I appreciate you, and I'll be in contact with you.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Very appreciated.